Hi guys, this is Arky talking, and this game I'm about to play is called Switch. It's a game I made myself. I'm going to assume that you have either like seen someone play it or played it yourself. When I'm doing this video, I won't go through like the basic of the game and stuff. The idea of this video is to do a couple of playthroughs, show all the rooms and the different endings, and mostly talk about like the process behind the game and how different rooms changed and things that you probably won't notice when you play the game the first time, but that were changed in some way to make the room either more difficult or easier or wise. I don't know why the text boxes are going nuts, but it probably won't matter. Okay, so the game started. This room is probably the first room I made, but back when this game was being made in the early phases, all we had was green tiles where you could go and red tiles where you could not go. So enter controls. This was actually implemented quite late. Go left. And the reason was because at first I made like an intro. The intro was not these full screen pictures, but they were a screen where you had to press left, right, space, and X at the same time. Because this game, at some points, you have to press more than 4 buttons on your keyboard at once. So I had that like you made sure that your keyboard can handle it. But when I realized that there were a lot of like casual guys who wanted to install the game on their laptop and they couldn't play it because they couldn't get past the first screen of the game, so I had to remove it. So now some people will like get mad because they have to do more inputs than their keyboard can handle. This room is interesting because it's all these first rooms are interesting basically because when I wanted to make this game as close to NES as possible, and I thought that NES tiles were 16 height and 16 width of tiles, like this. I'm standing on one tile now and I'm standing on another tile now, etc. But it turns out they are actually 15 in height and not, but they're still 16 in width. So I had to redo all of the like first 12 rooms, I think. But this room in general is like it's made so it looks really weird when you first enter it, but all the playtesters, they have done what I have wanted them to do, which is you just go into this room and you start switching and you just keep heading forward, and it's like the puzzle solves itself. It's not a difficult puzzle, but you get like this, holy shit, you can do a lot of stuff with switching. And this glass tube is nice because I placed it here for a reason I'm going to show you later. And this is also the first part of the game when you're like, how do I get to this computer? And it feels like you got through this entire room with like you had to switch so many times and you repositioned yourself and you switched again and you etc. And it feels like you should be able to go anywhere, but you can't reach this computer right now. And the first time you play it, people either stay here for a long time and try to like figure out, can I get to this computer? And some just skip it, but the idea is that I'm removing some of the feeling that you think you can go anywhere with switching. You can't at the moment. Excuse me. This 01001 sequence is actually a bitcode for nonsense. And this computer below here just says a 5 and then a couple of 01s, and those 01s are cents in bitcode. So experiments still online, and if you go to this computer it will say 5, so you will know there are 5 experiments. No one will probably ever figure that out, but whatever. Excuse me again. And this is the first place where I allow the player to fuck up, because everyone will do like this, and then they realize that they're back to the start, and then you think again like, how am I supposed to this is also a thing because you have to jump and switch at the same time for the first time here. Previously you've been just walking and switching. Here you jump and switch for the first time. And then you like, okay, so I have to switch and then I can fall down. And then you get to see your dad for the first time. And he talks about something that you don't know about, and you're like, oh snap, help me out of here, Dad, yo. And he tells you where you're supposed to go. And this was added way after a couple of guys playtested. At first, there was no dad. You were just supposed to get out of here, and everyone was like, where do I go? And I wanted it to be difficult to figure out where you're supposed to go, but people stopped playing because it was too difficult. So I added, like, go to the bottom of this laboratory. You have some kind of hint where you're supposed to go. And then he says that you're going to, once you get down there, you're gonna head back to where you saw him now, which is where he's standing now. And then he goes away, and this is the reason I added the glass tube, which is in the room below me right now. Because I added these glass tubes, and people go over here, and then most people actually fall down once. I'm gonna talk about that later. But these glass tubes, you were inside the glass tube before, because a lot of people weren't able to figure out that you can switch inside these glass tubes. Excuse me, I shouldn't be doing it when I'm coughing, but whatever. These glass tubes must also be offline, yeah, and he explains that most of the glass tubes are offline. So. And then you go up here, and this is, this wasn't even intended, but somehow this is extremely good design, because after a while people figure out that, okay, you can do like this, and then you can go over. Okay, I fell down because I switched too early, but on the first playthrough, almost everyone falls down at least once, and most people fall down twice. And it's actually, when I've been looking at how many times people fall down, and how they do later, there's one room where it's extra, like it's easiest to see. People who fell down twice always succeed that room, while people who only fell down once or never, they have no idea what to do when they come to that room, and they can come back later and solve it later. But what I was talking about is that most people, after a while, after you fell down once or twice, you figure out that you drop, and then you switch, and then you go over here, and now the background is green, and it's like, okay, we're in this new area, and now the game starts for real, because these blue rooms are really like tutorial style for just switching. But no one, and I'm talking like, I think I had 40 players playtest this game, and no one saw that you can do this. And that's actually a start of, now we're back in the room above us right now is the room where you started, and if you go right here, that's for an extra ending for the game, so I'm not going to do that right now. But no one figures out that you can jump up there, and I don't know how that works, but it works perfectly, and it made like making extra endings for the games really easy, because no one goes there. And now we get to these green rooms, and you can reach this computer right away. Some people have asked, can you get up there right away? And you can. And it says cloaking device in sector 6C is that is functioning, and you have no idea what that's talking about. But if you read through a couple of computers, I'll show you one up here. There is a system for which room is which sector. Like this is 2C, and the first number is the floor. Like this is 2C, and that means this is 3C. So if we go down a bit, there's going to be a cloaking device that's functioning, and that's kind of a hint to figuring stuff out. This room is where people who fall down twice, they figure out that you can do this right away. That you can sorry, that you can, when you jump again, you can switch again to like move your checkpoint to where you want it, and you're still always in the center platform. Those who only fell down once, they never figured this out, so falling down is actually not a bad thing. You learn, and that was the point. I wanted everyone to be able to finish this game, which is why the tutorial, if you miss, you do it over from the beginning, and it's extra fun when you watch the playtest. Like the first time they do the first couple of rooms, it's really slow, and they have to think about like every time they switch and how they're supposed to advance. But the second time they just run through everything, and you process, because this is like a new mechanic. It's not no one has any experience in this kind of like switching, so you learn by doing, and you don't really have to, you never solve like this particular puzzle that you jump and then you jump and switch again to get over there. You never solve that particular puzzle, but it's just the idea of switching that gets to your head, and after a while you start thinking like, I'm in both of these places at once, and that's actually what you have to do later. These tiles that I'm standing on right now, the arrows, they were the most recent added tile, and they were added because the boosting. I'm just gonna get to that room as soon as possible, because that's the room that changed the most due to playtesting, because there's a mechanic to boosting that was. I'm just gonna get to the boosting and show you as soon as possible. Now we are in sector 6C, by the way, and there is a cloaking device in this room, and I'm gonna just show you where it is. This is the only place where the ground, which I'm standing on right now, has this ground tile keeps on going, and you see a pipe here that also like connects with the pipe I'm standing about right now. I'm doing as much as I can to hint where this place is. And these electric things, I'm gonna talk about them later, because they are actually important in a way. So this is the first. Purple is like the secret color of this game, and this room is kind of difficult, so I'm gonna do my best to clear it. This room was also in like one of the first 13 rooms I made when this was still a school project, and we just had like maybe 5 or 6 different tiles to work with, and a really badly animated character, and just a couple of rooms. And this room was also in that, and this was just like you got to place with a big smiley because it was like a secret and stuff. But I don't really remember what this computer says, so experiment cancelled due to uncontrollable space dimensional fluctuations caused by activating the experiment. So this is also a hint to how you get the other endings, which is by only getting switch and one other ability. But this room is still interesting, because if you look to the top left and the bottom left, there are places where you can go, and you can come here later, but that's for the perfect ending, so it's gonna be a while, but you can keep it in mind. This was actually, I spent quite a lot of time on just these couple of tiles up here, because I wanted it to be I wanted to force you to have the switch point on your right when you left this room. And when you're in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles, there is no place where you can get the switch point to your right and then leave the room. I had only like these couple of, I think from here to down to the left here and out here, these couple of whatever there are, like 20 tiles to work with, and I had to force a way to have the switch point on the right when you left, because when you get out of here, you drop down here, and if you have your switch point on your left now, you are forced to, I'm gonna show you what happens actually. If you have your switch point on your left now, you are forced to go in here if you fall down, because now you can't get out of here, and you can't make the switch point go to your right, so you are forced to go in here again, which would trap you in an infinite loop if you weren't forced to have. I'm just gonna clear this room as soon as possible and get back to the room I was talking about earlier. I might actually fast forward this later when I do the video, but maybe not. I'm not really saying anything interesting right now, except maybe this was not supposed to be solved like this. It just were that way. I wanted you to do it this way, that you jump like that, and then you get your switch points to the... This is really difficult to do, which is why I don't do it. But you can see when I jump right, the switch points splashes blue from there. Okay, I'm not gonna do it, but you were supposed to do that way the entire way up. But this is way more easier, way much easier. Anyway, you are forced to get your switch point on the right over here. You can't leave this room without having the switch point to the right, which means that when you fall down, you're here, and you can, if you choose to, you can still go back to that room by going down here. Now, I'm not gonna do that because it's gonna take a lot of time. Instead, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna take a small side tour to this computer up here, though, because I don't think most people are gonna read it. It's just like a humorous computer I made. I don't know if it's that funny, but it's more of a backstory on how much the dad worked in the lab and how the son was mostly at home. Nicely done so far, son. The active glass tube is just up ahead, and you get the feeling I'm working away to get out of here, blah blah blah, and you get the feeling that something is... Oh, that's not yet. That's when you get the boosting. That computer up there, you can get to that one too. Not now, but you're gonna be able to get to it later. It also hints about how to get to the perfect ending, which is what every place where there's one of these electric things, that means that around there's a hint to how to get the perfect ending. Like when you were in the purple rooms, there was a hint how you got into the purple rooms, and once you finished that little secret and got to the computer, it shows you that you can go on the left. And if you like do some notes on how this laboratory looks, you're gonna see that how am I supposed to get there, and after a while it becomes obvious where you're supposed to go. Press down while running for a speed boost, and this is the most interesting ability in the game, I think, because it was edited so many times. Now you get back, and you're supposed to get back to where you first teleported to see you, and you can just head up from here. And he's saying that because you can go to the left and go back, but these rooms are made to teach you how boosting works, and you can't get through them without knowing everything about boosting, which is also one of those and these tiles were also added because I wanted people to be able to finish this game without reading a single word. So, first these arrows, I guess it's kind of not obvious that you're supposed to press down, that's the only problem. But once you get past all of this stuff, and then you realize that, oh, I can roll over these broken pipes now. There was a computer in the beginning that had those broken pipes. Keep on going. Oh, this this tile, this huge thing, that's actually I'm quite proud of that one. Most of the other tiles are I looked at Mega Man 1 and 2, I think, and I didn't copy them. Some of them were copies, but I changed them so I think they look better actually than they do in Mega Man, but I changed them so there would be no copyright thing. But this one though, this is not from Mega Man. I looked at, there are some tubes in Super Metroid that I think look really cool. And this is a version of those that are mostly below here because I wanted to have pipes on them. There are an edited version of the Super Metroid pipes. This is the thing that was added to boosting, which is fun because the computer says exactly what I did as a programmer. Boosting was modified to send the switch point closer to the user when activated. And that's exactly what I did, because I wanted you... I already spoiled how to get some of the different endings. So that's if you get only switch and one other ability and finish the game, then you get another ending than the normal ending, because there's a computer somewhere, I think, that says if you only... It says that the dimensional fluctuations caused by activating the experiments were easy to handle when only 2 experiments were active. And then you realize that, okay, I can... at least most of the playtesters realized that, okay, I can get to some other endings by only activating 2 experiments. And this, that my switch point moves when I activate the boost, that was added because I needed something else for the boost, because there are, on the top of this laboratory, there are the route you're supposed to go to get the other endings, because the normal way you go to finish the game, which is when you go back to the start and go left, Those rooms were made so you need every ability to get past them. The rooms that are for the other, I have to keep playing because otherwise I'm gonna run out of stuff to talk about. I'm gonna get to that when I get there, basically, because right now I'm just gonna trying to finish the normal ending of the game. So I get every ending in this playthrough. This room you can get past. It says specimens were taught not to visualize an ability to switch, but to visualize being in two places at once. So if I'm here, then I am also at the switch point, which means that if I would be able to jump and go left, I would just be able to jump up to the platform above, like that. And then these are kind of the same thing. I visualize that I'm not standing here, I am actually at my switch point, and if I jump right, I'm gonna be able to land here, so I do the same thing. And then you do that all the way up. Oh, I missed the last part. But most people just drop down here once you have gotten double jump, which is in the room above. I might have to do something about this actually, because having this game up and Fraps running at the same time is making like slight delays, so I'm not really timing anything. I won't be able to like finish the most important parts of the game if it's like this, so I'm probably gonna like pause out once I did the normal ending for the game. I'm gonna skip this right now because it takes too much time, and this is like one of these places where you can go back into this room when you have boost, but you can't like go down here when you don't have boost, so it's like a shortcut thing. This game is actually really Metroid inspired, because I like how the backtracking in Metroid works, and when you go back to like the beginning of the entire game and you're like, oh shit, when I have all my abilities I can actually get to this secret thing over here. Over here, jump like that, switch. And now I have double jump. To the right is the checkpoint ability, and that computer up there. There you can see one of those electrical things again. Oh, I'm gonna actually pause and talk a bit about this room, because this room is also like, okay, now you got double jump. How many ways can you use the double jump? You can use it by getting higher, you can use it by falling and then double jumping. Okay, I missed that one. Because of this delay thing that I'm probably gonna be blaming a lot. And you can use it by switching and then double jumping and then switching again. And this is like one of those electronic things, and it says, oh, it's this gibberish computer, but it's actually not gibberish. If you, I hope my mouse is visible. If you read here, it actually says Arcade, which I think is pretty funny. But if you read only the letters, it's gonna say hint. Why is the log number more than, and then you skip one because there's a space, and then you skip one again, and then it's a 4. So why is the log number more than 4, this log number? And if you want the like find everything in this game, you basically have to read most of the computers, and if you take note of what they actually say, the last actually I'm just gonna talk about that computer when I get to it, but this one doesn't have log yet. But all the other computers have a log that's smaller than 4, and I think 3 is the highest one. And they are actually like time stamps, and they tell they almost tell like a backstory of how, in which order the, like, I think this one is like log 1 or something, because it only talks about switching. Oh, it's actually log 3 because I guess it was at the end of the experiments. But now these arrows that I was talking about earlier, they were added to like tell the player where you were supposed to boost. But you could do like I did now to just double jumping. But that's the way to get through that I'm talking about here, with the arrows. That you can you can boost to get your switch point to the other side here, which allows you to go up here and then and then head back to the wall jump. There is an electric thingy here too, and this is, let me think for a moment. This is the room above the room that showed that you would be able to walk outside of this part that you're in now and actually be to the left outside here. Yes, it's the one above, because the room above us now is the room where you finish the game, where the dad is standing in a teleport tube. And now I'm glad you got here, and now he's talking about where that you can find one more ability. And there's actually only one place where we have not been yet, and that is where we got the boosting ability and then heading right. So that's where you're supposed to go now. I can get this computer though, because it talks about double jumping. I think I wanted to show every computer too, because you have to I think you can do this by wall jumping, but it's way easier to do by double jumping. And yeah, exactly, midair jumps made possible, a true breakthrough in our research. That would be quite a breakthrough actually. Current fluctuations cost are big, but they are stable and will be a later issue, because double jump was this, I think it's the third ability they invented, and which is why fluctuations are kind of getting out of hand, but they are saying that it's still kind of okay, we don't really have to worry. Oh shit, the laboratory exploded. So we get back to this place again. I forgot to talk about a room above this that's kind of interesting, but I'm going to talk about them later. Oh, and this room is also one of those people who fell down twice. They figure out that you're supposed to do this right away, because it's the same thing that you do in the room where you fall down. You start falling and then you switch. And if people who didn't fall down at all, or only fell down once, they are stuck here for quite a while, and most of them tend to do this, and then they realize that they're back at the start. Anyway, moving on, getting into this room, and going right here. Now would actually be quite fun time to show the only glitch that I'm aware of in this game. I know how the glitch works, and I know what I should do to remove it, but it looks so fun and weird, so it's kind of like I don't want to remove it, because it's mostly because I wanted this to be an NES style game, and with like a few glitches is nice, and there's nowhere where you can sequence skip with this. There's no like it has some weird moments. There's nowhere where you can sequence skip with it, and there is nowhere where you can like get yourself stuck. So I'm leaving it in. Here, exactly, log 4. All machines are now shut down. This is the last computer online. I will now shut it down. Goodbye. And then there's a computer with a log number higher than 4, and then you're like, why is it higher than 4? And that's actually also a hint to other stuff, but I'm gonna talk about that later. And that's the easy way to get past this room. People have been stuck in this room forever. The first thing the first thing I thought that you would have to do is to boost over there, which actually takes quite a bit of timing. And then I don't know if you were supposed to boost first. No, I think all of it was just double jumping, and then switch over here and then go in there. But you can just wall jump like that again. And this is I wanted to have a room with these long jumps because I think they look cool. This is also like, there is a really easy way to get past this room, and I think you saw what I was supposed to do. And you can do the same thing to get up there. But these arrows are like, they make you want to do this because you've been boosting on arrows the entire game so far, and there are arrows, so of course I'm supposed to boost, and most people do that actually. And when you get up here, it's like, okay, I have to switch to get over there, but now I'm screwed. And then you can do the double jump thing, and then this last part is actually tricky, so I'm just gonna get up there. as fast as I can. Yes. Oh, but you switch over here, so you have to... What I thought you had to do here was that you would have to boost and then double jump. But since there's this super easy way to get up, I don't see people doing that. But I still like this room because if you get here and you do it a couple of times and you're like, oh snap, I screwed up, and then you start doing that on reflex, it's like the easy part of the room and you just want to get by it so you can do this difficult part of the room. So seeing this shortcut, most people haven't seen it when they play this game. This is a nice room because to get into that checkpoint thing, you actually lock yourself. You can't... When I'm here now, I can boost like that, but that's really difficult and most people don't figure it out. But right now I'm actually locked in here, apart from that thing of course, but you can't, there's no place to boost here and you're stuck in here, and if you can swap out here, but then you're stuck here and you can't go further here. And getting up there you can't because you barely can double jump. There's a way to do it if you want to be like really spend time into getting up there, but I don't see people doing that. And then you get the checkpoint and you're stuck, so you have to use the checkpoint to get out of where you are now. And this is, it tells you how it works, and then it says that if you press up an action when you're inside the checkpoint, it sends you back to the beginning. Checkpoint was actually extremely overpowered, should I say, in one version of this game, because it allowed you to, right now you can only place checkpoints in the ground. It allowed you to make checkpoints while you were jumping, which means that if I can get a checkpoint up here, then I can jump, swap to that checkpoint and have like my, if I place the checkpoint here, and then I place it there, and then I jump and switch to the checkpoint immediately, which means I will be here and have my full jump velocity, and then I could place the next checkpoint here, and then I could keep doing the same thing. So you could basically fly with checkpoints, and I had to remove that because it was kind of silly. But right now the checkpoints work like this, and you have to place one here to get out, and then you can get out of this room. And for a while, that was, I think that was actually a guy that I liked pretty much, that basically one of my best friends that plays this game. He realized that you could trap yourself with checkpoints. I don't think there's a good place to show that here, so I'm gonna head to the next room. Place checkpoint. Here, if I would place a checkpoint here and then swap there and swap the checkpoint, now I am stuck. And that's why I added that you could warp back to the start by using checkpoints, because now I can unstuck myself, or what would you call it. And warping back to the start is also practical, because this is where you're supposed to go to finish the game. Like he said, go back to the start. I think the dad says when you get to wall jump that once you get it, head back to the start and go left or something like that. The fluctuations caused by our latest experiment are getting out of hand. The entire project is jeopardized, and that's actually the checkpoint that he's talking about. And now we get to the red rooms, and these are like the rooms that you need all your abilities to get through. And I don't know, there's not much to say about these really. This room is not particular at all. This is kind of interesting because you need both. I think you need every ability to get past this room. Maybe not double jump, but other than that you need, because to get up here you need wall jump, and to swap in there you need boosting, and to get your sweet points over to the other side you need a checkpoint. And then I'm just gonna place a checkpoint here because I might screw up. I didn't. Okay, music stops. Music made by, the credits are gonna show another friend of mine. The full screen images and the main music are the only things that I didn't do myself. Other than that, I did like all the programming, all the sprites, etc., etc. Get in the glass tube. Excuse me. ending theme is a remix of another song I made earlier. And the basic ending is basically the entire laboratory explodes because you activated all the experiments, so space dimensional fluctuations screw everything over, and the laboratory kinda implodes on itself. And the laboratory are also the power source for your powers, so you lose all of them. And then you're like, oh no, there should be some way to get my abilities. And if you... I think every ending has its own comment. And I'm pretty sure the comment for the first ending is that this is just one of the many endings. Yeah, that's the first comment. So they say that you can get other endings. And I'm probably gonna fast forward through this, I don't know. Maybe I can think of something interesting to say. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. It feels like it's gonna be like an hour or something. People probably won't watch it because it's too long. But maybe no, I want to do them in order, the other endings, which is like first getting boost only, and then getting double jump only, then getting wall jump only, and then getting checkpoint only. Yeah, this is only one of the many endings to find. The game will shut down when you press enter. Thanks for playing. You can get to see the full... let's see if Fraps